We have some major breaking news as it has been announced and confirmed that Kris Wright and Our Motorsports have officially parted ways, and Kris Wright has been fired from Our Motorsports. What's going on, guys? It's Daniel, and welcome back to our video. As I just said a second ago, we got some pretty massive and major breaking news as it has been announced and confirmed that Kris Wright has officially been fired from Our Motorsports effective immediately. As written by Joseph Straley from TobyChristie.com, Kris Wright, Our Motorsports agreed to part ways. He writes, Kris Wright and Our Motorsports have agreed to part ways effective immediately. And Kris Wright has confirmed to TobyChristie.com as well that he has been officially let go from the team and organization starting this weekend effective immediately. For this weekend, we are going to see that this weekend it will be Kaz Grala who will be behind the wheel of the number 5 car for the weekend. The first time that we have seen Kaz Grala in a Chevrolet this season, as of course we do know he works at Legacy Motor Club currently at the moment. Now, Kris Wright so far in 2025, when it was announced and confirmed that he was going to be joining up with this team and program, I was definitely really frustrated because let's be real and honest, Kris Wright has not been that good so far in 2025. Just looking at his numbers, Kris Wright so far in 2025 only has one top 10 finish, and keep this in mind that one top 10 finish he got was at 9th place in Martinsville. Just a reminder, Kris Wright, I believe, actually got into an incident at one point in that race, but there were so many wrecks, so many cautions that took place, and many cars got crash involved in the event, and he was one of those cars that was involved in wrecks throughout the day. So for him to finish 9th in a race that he did a really bad job on, it's not shocking and surprising that he was fired. And another big reason why I think he was let go from Our Motorsports was because, one, he withdrew from the event, but because he DNQ'd at the Chicago Street Course. He was one of the 2 cars that did not make the race at Chicago, and was the other driver, of course, being Sage Karam. Unfortunately, electrical gremlins and problems, but guess what? He had top 10 pace and top 10 speed. Keep this in mind. Last year, Anthony Alfredo drove this number 5 car, right? And Anthony Alfredo did a much better job behind the wheel of this car. Anthony had a chance and opportunity to make the playoffs last year. I think he was in the top 15 in the regular season standings. But also, Anthony Alfredo won a Dasher Cash event and got $100,000 by being the highest finishing driver who qualified for the Dasher Cash last year and got multiple top 5s and multiple top 10s throughout 2024. You compare that now to Kris Wright, who has just been atrocious so far this year. Kris Wright in 2025 only has 3 top 20 finishes in 2025. That 9th place finish at Martinsville, an 18th place finish at Charlotte Motor Speedway where he survived a lot of cars and still, I believe, got caught up in an incident at one point in that event. And then in Mexico City, at a type of track where he's generally pretty okay, I would say, he finished 17th at Mexico when there was a lot of carnage at the end of the event. You look at some of the races. Pocono, he finished 37th. He finished 25th at Atlanta. He finished 29th at Sonoma. He had so many wrecks he was involved in. Remember that whole situation with Josh Bilicki? He got into a situation with him. He crashed at Daytona, just ran into Josh Bilicki, just completely missed it. Then he had a situation in Atlanta where he got into Josh Bilicki once again. Then he wrecked Josh Bilicki again at Coda. Then the Texas situation where he basically just flat out dumped Justin Allgaier for no reason whatsoever. He completely wasn't holding his line. He was 20 miles an hour off the pace compared to everybody else in the field and was just doing a terrible job there. So I think it was about time for him to be let go. I don't wish for people to lose their jobs, but after that incident and situation in Texas a couple months back, I said it then, he should have been fired then at that particular moment in point. The fact they kept him on for as long as they did, it told me they were probably looking for somebody else at this point. Now, as I mentioned, at the moment, Kaz Grala is going to be the driver of this team, at least for this weekend. And then after this, will it just be Kaz Grala who's going to drive this car for the remainder of the season, or they're going to get somebody else maybe from the NASCAR Xfinity Series and maybe get behind the wheel? Could we see Roger Kurf get a chance and opportunity to drive this car at one point? Because I think anybody else would be doing a much better job behind the wheel of this car than we have seen so far, because Our Motorsports last year, like I mentioned, was a playoff contending organization with Anthony Alfredo. This year, they have been a complete dumpster fire because they took all the money in the cash. And I get that Kris Wright has a lot of money backing him, but when he doesn't always take responsibility for incidents and carnage on the racetrack. I think for Kris Wright going forward, I think ultimately the goal is just kind of recollect yourself and maybe focus on going back down to ARCA at this point, because he did have some decent runs in ARCA, but he did finish second in the championship last year, albeit a very weak ARCA field last year, and I don't think the field's much stronger this year, though I think Brendan Butterbean Queen is doing a fantastic job, and I want to correct something on that story as well. Basically got that story wrong about him not making more starts, which he did make a couple starts in trucks last year. But that being said, going back to Kris Wright, I don't rate this guy. He is worse than Hailie Deegan. Yes, Hailie Deegan was not that good in Xfinity competition, and she never scored a top 10, unlike Kris Wright. But Hailie Deegan scored more top 20s. She scored 4 top 20s before she was let go and got fired. And she at least has multiple ARCA West wins compared to Kris Wright, who never won anything in NASCAR's divisions, hasn't run very good, and just is not that good of a driver overall, in my opinion. I just don't rate the guy. The guy doesn't have a lot of success in other motorsports he's competed in, and I don't think he's deserving of racing in NASCAR any series currently at the moment unless he can get himself together. He is someone who's also 30 or 31 years old. He's not a young driver, really young. I know 31 back in the day was young, but 31 is really not that young at this point. And there's a lot of drivers who are doing way better that are a lot younger. Connor Zilch, for example, who I think is going to be in the Cup Series next, replacing Daniel Suarez. You've got, of course, Carson Quaffle. I think he's got a really good chance to win this weekend. You've got guys sitting on the sidelines who I think deserve that seat, are more qualified. Ryan Truex is more qualified to be behind the wheel of this car. Brett Moffitt, who used to drive for Our Motorsports, he is way more qualified to be behind the wheel of that car. He had a chance to make the playoffs a couple years ago with this team. There's other drivers that I think are more qualified that are not racing at the moment right now. And it blows my mind that someone like Kris Wright got this chance and opportunity from the get-go. He should have never been in this car to begin with. I'm sorry to say that, but that's the truth. I get the funding and sponsorship really play a role, but Our Motorsports took the chance on the funding side of things, and they completely squandered a terrible opportunity for him, because I don't think he did a good job. He was absolutely atrocious. He never deserved the chance and opportunity to be behind the wheel of this car, and I think it's justified that he got let go, unfortunately. I don't wish for people to lose their seats, because I want to see drivers do really well, but Kris Wright is a special case. I think there needs to be questions about his license in NASCAR as well, on if he should be racing at this point. Who knows? But nonetheless, I think it's justified that he's finally been let go. I think it's the right decision and right call to go ahead and fire Kris Wright after his terrible performances and really bad runs in NASCAR competition. Glad to see that he's been let go from the team. Hopefully someone does get a better opportunity than him and actually does better in this seat and better than Kris Wright. So that is going to today's special breaking news report on Kris Wright being fired from Our Motorsports. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, turn notifications on so notify when a video does go live on my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and support me on Patreon as well. Let's go below that and comment your thoughts below on today's special breaking news report. Do you think Kris Wright will find a ride in NASCAR next year or throughout the remainder of the year? Or do you think he'll be sitting on the couch next year? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Tomorrow on the channel, we're going to have race picks for the NASCAR Cup Series and Xfinity Series races at Dover Motor Speedway, more than likely. If we get updates on the lawsuit at 25 and Farnborough, we'll talk about that as well. Thursday, I'm likely going to be doing a NASCAR news video, talk about news over the course of the last couple days. On Friday, I might be doing some sort of silly season video dropping on the channel. We also may be doing, we'll be probably doing reactions to the ARCA race as well from Dover. Then, of course, on Saturday, we'll have reactions to the Xfinity Series race and Cup qualifying. And then on Sunday, of course, we'll have reactions to the NASCAR Cup race. We'll have the starting lineup video as well for that event. And then on Monday, we should have a NASCAR news video dropping. We're going to have some special content dropping throughout the week with the Brickyard Farmer coming up. Should be really exciting and really fun. We got content coming on people like Hailie Deegan, Shane Van Gisbergen, Carl, Kurt Busch, Kyle Busch, Bubba Wallace, Ross Chastain, Charlotte Creed, Sam Merrick, Cletus LaFarn, Dodge Ram, Kyle Larson, Chase Elliott, Brad Keselowski, you name it, Frankie Muniz, all the good stuff, Tony Breidinger, Kaylee Bryson, you name it, Cam Waters, Brock Feeney, Will Brown, all the good stuff. Same with Red Bull. We'll talk about all that kind of stuff on the channel in the coming days and weeks. So anyways, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's episode, and I'll see you guys next time for more great, awesome NASCAR content, other motorsports content on the channel like this. Take care, everybody.